Let's talk about how to make money while starting in real estate. How do you do it? How do you start? Where do you get the money? How does this all work? So this is attorney Bob Diamond. I actually started my career very early on buying properties to fix and flip. And boy, I'll tell you, when I started out, it seemed confusing and overwhelming. Well, thankfully, I've learned a lot since then, and I'm here to share it with you. And at the end, I'm going to give you access into a business that I do called Overages that's really amazing, where you just make big lump sums of money that might help you get started. But let's talk about what probably you're looking at now, which is probably fixing and flipping properties, or maybe getting some rentals, more likely fixing and flipping. So let's start with that. So how does that work? Well, the deal is you have to find a property that's a really great deal. And this is what people generally miss with fix and flip real estate. It is hard to source properties at the right price. And the right price is 30% off of fair market value minus whatever your fix-up costs are. So let's say you had a house that was the average house in America, and after it's repaired, it's worth $400,000. You really need to buy that property for about $280,000 minus what's going to cost to fix it up. I know that seems crazy, but it's very expensive to carry a house, to pay for the financing, to pay the taxes, and also to account for cost overruns and construction and all. And you just really need an amazing deal. So 30% off is the right number. You'll have a lot of fix and flippers that want to buy even cheaper than that. They want 65% minus fix-up costs. That's what the smart money does. And the successful flippers know that, and they just keep shopping until they find a great deal. So you're going to want to spend a lot of time looking at deals, talking to owners, and making offers that you may even feel uncomfortable making. What I did to get my properties, because I just found it easier after a while, is I would just go to foreclosure auctions, both tax foreclosure and mortgage foreclosures, and buy properties there. And I would go look at the properties, figure out my bid. I would get properties and fix them up and sell them, and made great money. But what you don't want to do is get lazy in that part of the business. You don't want to go through realtors, say, I'll just see what the realtor has. Realtors don't have prices like that. They're a retail outlet. It's really not your place to be shopping. I bought exactly one property to fix up and flip through a realtor. And that was because it was a property that was in an estate. They needed to sell the property to close out the estate. It was a very large estate, and they didn't care about this little rental property. So I was able to buy it cheaply. And my only condition, they said, you need to buy it like this week. And I'm like, fine, I can do that. And I fixed it up and made like $65,000 on it. It was great. But generally speaking, sourcing of properties becomes your job as a fixer and flipper. It's great, you just got to focus on it. And make sure that you're looking at the foreclosure auctions. You're looking at distressed sellers, meaning people that just need to sell, have to sell, want to sell, and price is not their main goal. It's just getting rid of the property is their main goal. Like the one I bought through the realtor, where the estate had to be closed and they just needed to get rid of this property. It needed some work, so they couldn't sell it retail, so they just dumped it. And you need to be out there in order to get that. But that's the best way to get started. Now, you might say, well, what about the money? You said you're going to talk about the money. This is a funny thing. When people think about fixing and flipping real estate, first question is, where do I get the houses? And so then once you answer that, oh, here's where the house is, like, oh, how am I going to pay for it? And it's like a tenth of a second gap between elation at finding a property than terror they have to pay for it. And the thing is that there are people called hard money lenders out there. And a hard money lender is someone that lends based on the value of the property, not based on your income or credit or down payment or anything else. And a hard money lender is often where you go to, especially as a new fixer flipper kind of person, before you have a track record or relationships. Hard money lender is often the person you're going to. And a lot of hard money lenders will lend 65 to 70% of what the property is worth, and some of them will even lend all the fix-up costs. They want that cushion in there, by the way. They're not going to pay, we're not going to lend you 90% of what it's worth, because they know that that's not a deal that's going to work out. But 60 to 70%, sure. And plus fix-up cost, often they'll do that as well. These are typically people that have done pretty well. They have a little bit of savings, and they're using their savings to lend to people who they can lend at pretty high interest rates, and they can get good money out of it, and they're just using it as an investment strategy. So you're dealing with one person, you're not dealing with the committee, and if you build a relationship, you can have a pretty good go of it. And they, what I would suggest, you develop relationships with 2 or 3 hard money lenders. When you have deals, say, here's my deal, are you interested, what would your terms be? and see who bites. And it really depends on the deal, not on you, which is why hard money lenders can be really good for a beginning investor. Now, I will tell you they're very expensive. Points and fees and things like that really add up. So you don't want to stay with hard money lenders forever, but very worthwhile when you're starting out to get started in the business. It's fantastic because you can get money when otherwise you wouldn't be able to. What I wouldn't do is try to get money from friends and family necessarily, because first of all, if anything goes wrong, it's going to be very uncomfortable Thanksgiving. So that would be my first thing. And friends and family, when they're not in the business, they may be very uncomfortable too. And I think it's just not, you don't want to be convincing them to lend you money. Instead, do it like a true business person. Go to the hard money lenders at first, and that will get you the money. And that's how you can get started with the money aspect of the business. So hard money lenders are generally a localized business. So the first thing to do is internet search. If you're from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I used to live, hard money lender in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, you'll probably find a dozen of them that pop up. And like I said, these usually individual business people who are maybe retired, maybe in their 60s or 70s, and they're using this as a way to basically lend out money at pretty high interest rates and points and make money that way without having to do the work. And that's a good thing. And I know I just said high interest rates and points. Hard money lenders are not cheap. They're not lending at 4 or 5%. They're going to charge you a couple of points, a point being a percentage of the value of the loan. So a couple of points and a high interest rate, probably in the teens. And so it costs money, but when you need the money and it's a way to get your deal done, it's good, especially at the beginning. Understand you'll work your way out of this as you're successful, but at the beginning you pay a little bit more. It's part of the startup costs of getting your business going. So, there are some national hard money lenders. I don't like them as much as the locals. I'd rather you work with a couple of local people where you have, say 3 people to draw from, and use this, Susie for this one, Joe for that one, Jane for the other one, and just keep a couple people active so that you can keep multiple relationships going, because these are small players and they can run out of money. So you want to make sure that you keep a couple people warm. That's a great way to do it. So that's one way to make money, and there are other ways too. You can do the short-term rentals, are very good. With those, you'd want to learn how to do it and also check in your area to make sure they're not banned. A lot of big cities have banned, short-term rentals, meaning short-term anything, 30 days or less. And that can really put a cramp in your style. So I think that the way to play that game is being a master lessor or a property manager. And the way that works is that you lease a property from a landlord. Like say you lease an apartment in a very nice high-rise. And then you have as part of your lease your ability to put it on Airbnb or any short-term rental platform and rent it out. That way, if the city bans the practice of short-term rentals, you could always switch to a long-term rental, or you could just run out the lease and then stop renting it and not end up with a bunch of properties that you have big mortgage payments on where you can't handle the mortgage payment. Generally, when they ban short-term rentals, they allow things that are 30 days or longer. There's still some people in that market, not nearly as big or as profitable as daily rentals, which is the classic short-term rental, but still good. Still good, not bad. I like that model because you're not buying the properties, you're just managing them. You can also manage them for other people, which is even better in a way, where you say, look, I'll make sure the pictures get taken, the people get checked in, customer service gets taken care of, maintenance gets called when a toilet's clogged in the middle of the night, and that's worth good money, and you can charge good money for that. And I know one person, a friend of mine, that does that business. She has about 30 properties under contract in a very high-end beach community. And she's charging 20% of what she gets from Airbnb, and it's great money. And she doesn't have any monthly nut. And when the repairs are needed, she doesn't even have to pay for them. The landlord or owner pays for them, and she's really just the manager. Those are great businesses. I like that as a way to get started in real estate. You can make good money, and you can expand that. And as you get more liquid, meaning you have more money and you're doing better, then you can start getting your own places either as a master lease, meaning you're leasing it, and then you just pay monthly rent, and then you're hopefully making 2 to 3 times that on short-term rentals. That can be great, and I think that's a good way to handle that. Now, I promised to tell you about the business I'm doing, which is Overages, which is a really great business. Overages is a business where when a property is lost at a foreclosure auction, when it sells for more than the debt that's owed, then the former owner can claim that money. Problem is, former owners generally don't have any idea there's any money that they could claim or are eligible to claim. So 70% of the time, it never gets claimed. It just forfeits to the government. So the business is where we go and get the lists of monies that are held. We contact the people, sign them up, and get the money for a percentage. It's a great business. You make good cash with it. It's inexpensive to start, and you can do it on the side. Really, really good business. And it's great for a beginner in real estate. It's wonderful because you don't have to put up money. You don't have to find a hard money lender or pay any interest or anything like that. And you can still make money in real estate. So if you want to know about that, I did a short video called Intro to Overages video. You can see a link up above my shoulder. If the link isn't there, hello link, if you're not there, then that means your browser doesn't support it. And just look down below and there'll be a link down there. So go check out the Overages video. I'll give you the lowdown on it, maybe exactly the business for you. If you like helping people and making money, it's a really good business. My favorite business I've ever owned. Been doing it for over 10 years and I absolutely love it. So click on that link and I'll see you at the Intro to the Overages video. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, like it so that YouTube will send more people my way to watch videos. Thanks.